Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Friday. My Friday has been a little interesting. I've been kind of relaxing most of the day, and I actually just woke up from a nap because your boy was pretty tired. Today we're just doing a short stream. We're not doing any Follower Friday or any games or anything like that. We're just going to be chatting. It's going to be pretty quick. I got some dinner plans later, so I'm going to be getting to that as well. But yesterday, for those who know me, I like when I have these situations come up, I like to sit back and I like to digest. I like to look at them and I like to analyze my position in them. And honestly, it's kind of consuming. It's kind of a consuming thing, even when it's nothing as dramatic as it was yesterday, even. So yesterday was a pretty dramatic version of things that could happen. So I've obviously definitely looked into it and looked at the consequences per se of it. And there were a lot of interesting things I discovered. But regardless, for those who do know me, I am on a bit of a spiritual journey per se. And in that spiritual journey, one of my goals is to become a blameless person. And it's funny because in the word, it kind of sounds confusing because to be blameless, that would also theoretically mean to not be blamed, right? To not have something that you can be blamed about. However, it is from my recent learnings that blamelessness isn't necessarily about not doing wrong things. It's about doing wrong when wrong happens, because you're human, and being able to walk forward and to talk about them and to basically admit when you've done something wrong so you can improve from it. Being blameless is not it's taking away like hiding from things and just directly confronting it and being like, okay, you know what? Maybe in this situation I could have done this or this or this or this, right? I see that now. In the moment, wasn't too great. Here's where it's at. So today I am going to take a step in that. I don't think many other people in the community probably will likely take the same step, and that's okay. Because the beautiful thing about journeys like this is that these are journeys that you uptake, not that everybody around you uptakes, right? So I've got a list of people that I feel like I have wronged, yesterday especially, and even just in the weeks leading up to this. And I got some general things that happened yesterday as well that I feel like, okay, you know what? I looked at that, could have done better. And I've also got a couple of other, and I got like a small little like written thing that I was like, okay, you know what? This also needs to happen. A lot of things were put on my heart in this like last day, and honestly, I'm grateful for it. By the way, I'm grateful for it. Like, I don't want to like sit here and seem like I'm really beat up about the situation, and because in reality, the thoughts that came because of this led me to things that I wouldn't have understood without it. And so because of that, I'm grateful, if that makes sense. Because of that, I'm grateful. And all of that, it also allows me to take this step, which is a really hard step to take. And I'm proud to be here. By the way, I'm not going to be reading chat or anything. I don't want to be influenced by chat. I don't want to be like, I just want my thoughts to be put out there the way they should be and as genuine as they can be. I haven't really talked about the situation, and I haven't really even brought up these points with other people. This is genuinely just me looking at things, like looking at other people's perspectives from yesterday, re-looking at my perspective, looking at like the actions that happened afterwards, and just me kind of being honest with myself and saying, okay, you know, what did you truly do wrong? What did you truly, because I have this concept called Will-o'-the-Wisp, and it comes from this book called from James Allen, and it's called As a Man Thinketh. And the premise of Will-o'-the-Wisp is that people, oftentimes in crowds, they kind of tell you things. They say things. They tell you things. They make you believe in things when in reality they're thoughts or their sayings. They are will-o'-the-wisp. They lead somewhere that isn't exactly where reality intended you to be led, right? So sometimes you have to listen to your own spirit and your own mind, and that is like what's true. Now, some people, that's not the case, and some people definitely need a little bit more guidance. But me, I'm a very self-analytical person. I'm a self-improving person, and I like to say that I have a good heart, and I intend to do good by that heart. So, with that being said, I'm going to move forward with I'm going to start with the people that I feel like I've grievanced in these last couple of weeks, right? And I think to the people in the community, I think one of the most obvious ones is probably Asmo. I actually had a conversation with somebody who I'm very thankful I had this conversation with too, because there was a time period where I was like, man, like I don't really know what to do with the Asmo situation, because originally there was nothing wrong between Asmo and I, but all of a sudden we're playing Super Battle Golf, and it's like we're just beefing. We're beefing. I have no reason to be beefing with Asmo, and all of a sudden it's like we're beefing. And there are comments from his end, which I didn't really resonate in. Like none of them really stuck with me, but he would say things like, why is this guy obsessed with me? Like, dude, don't you have anything better to do with your life? Or like things like this. And from my perspective, I was genuinely like, it's not that deep. Like, I'm just playing a game. You happen to be right there. I'm targeting people at first. You happen to get first a lot. This, that. But then I think in his heart, and maybe this isn't okay. You know what? First, I should say back and say I'm not here to criticize and condemn and admonish other people. I'm not here to look at everybody else's perspective and be like, look, you're all you did this, you did this. No, I think everybody should sit back and just do that for themselves. You know, I think nobody is perfect, and everybody yesterday made some kind of error one way or another, whether they want to admit it or not. That includes me. So, but regardless, with Asmo, I felt like somewhere in his heart, it kind of started to like resonate that he genuinely thought I had something against him when that was never the case. And so one of the things that was laid on to me was I didn't communicate with Asmo that things genuinely weren't like that from my end. So Asmo, if you're listening, bro, that's on me. I should have communicated to you, made it very, very abundantly clear that I didn't have any harboring emotions about you. The stuff in Battle Golf, that was never like a personal thing. It got to a point where eventually it resonated in you. You started to irritate me, and I felt justified in the behaviors I had with you, even though that definitely wasn't right as well. I feel like when things were brought too far, I also didn't just step out and apologize to you and be like, look, I brought it too far. It shouldn't have gone that way. It is what it is. I kind of just was like, okay, you know, on a personal level, I took it, went too far. Maybe I shouldn't do that in the future. So going forward, hopefully I could have a little bit more reservation in that regard. And then last but not least, with Asbo, I feel like I was pretty public yesterday when it came to the dilemma between you and Doom and who to choose. That I did really want you on my team, and a lot of that was because of our prior beefs, but I think if I had taken those prior steps, it wouldn't have been an issue. And not only that, if I used yesterday as an opportunity to amend those things, it could have been even better. Like, I could have just sat back and be like, you know what? I've got a pretty good team. Asmo's not bad at the game. I'm going to get Asmo on my team. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to unite and amend things that never had to be, like, weird in the first place. Like, I could have done a better job with that. So, again, sorry, Asmo. I don't really expect anything to come from this. I don't even know if this will ever reach Asmo, but at the end of the day, like I said, this is kind of more of like a for me thing and trying to be blameless in my actions and who I am. So, yeah. But the next person's Doom. See, no surprise there, right? No surprise there. So, Doom, again, I was another situation where I was kind of public about him about not really wanting him on my team. And Doom, for those who don't know Doom, I'm going to be completely frank about this. My intentions in the moment were more based off of my interactions with Doom in the past and my understanding of Doom and how much of a troll he is. And like how regular it is to push out this narrative that Doom is this this person always throws your game and you can't have him on your team because he's not a team player and things like this. Like I was more so playing into that, but really it shouldn't have happened because at the end of the day it's disparaging. Even if it's like a community joke, even if like everybody knows that this is like a joke or something that happens, I could see how from Doom's perspective that could be something that's upsetting. Doom, I love you, bro. You are literally friends with my brother. You guys hang out and play all the time. I definitely didn't mean to offend you by any of that stuff. If you feel offended, well, regardless if you feel offended, I'm sorry, but if you want to talk things out, and same with Asmo, same with anybody on this list, if you guys want to talk things out, I'm definitely willing to. And in my heart, my intentions when talking about Doom were never bad. Like, I never wanted to put Doom down. That was never my goal. It was never my goal to put Asmo or Doom or anybody down. I think there was one moment yesterday where I definitely did something where I was like, okay, that came from probably a darker place than it should have. Which leads me into my next topic. And like I said, this is just me self-analyzing. This isn't me going and reaching out to people and being like, okay, what's being said about me? And like, what is this person saying? Why is this person leaving? Why is this person leaving? And it's like, no, I genuinely just kind of looked at things. And even in the moment yesterday, if you look back at it, I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. So next person on the list is a B, aka Torpy. Yeah, I don't really know you all that well. I'm going to be completely frank. We've had very brief conversations in the past. I think yesterday was the first time I genuinely remember hearing your voice. And you were like, no, we've talked before. And I was like, yeah, we have, yeah. And I saw something earlier in the day that was a little alarming. And when I was being judged by you, I had felt justified in that to then measure you by the same meats, if that makes sense, and to blast something even though I didn't have the context awareness of it, the understanding of it, because in reality the thing I blasted, if it was as dramatic as it was, there would have been backlash for it. At least I would assume there would have been backlash for it. Right? So realistically, it came from a spiteful place where I was like sharing this thing about you because you came into my environment and you were bringing a lot of negativity around, and this is not my goal to bring you down or bash you down. You could go look at your comments, you can go analyze, was this right completely or wholly or whatever. And I know the answer to that. I think it doesn't take a completely, well, no, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave that there. But regardless of that, though, I blasted something I probably shouldn't. I definitely shouldn't have. I definitely shouldn't have done that. And I think even in the day, that was one of the things I was definitely more aware of. And I think that was the thing I was the most disgusted with myself of yesterday, was looking at that and being like, okay, well, I know how much, like, I know the severity of, like, what was said and what that is. And if it was taken out of context, what that could do to people in real life or not. And especially for people who don't have maybe the freedoms that America has, right? So it's like, maybe I should sit back and not do things out of spite like that. And Torpy, I sincerely apologize for that. I'm sorry. And I hope people understand the genuine side of that. I didn't like hear comments from other people, or like I didn't really see that I was like kicked from her server. I was like, oh no, like I really do. Like, no, I genuinely just looked at that. I was like, yeah, that was probably not the best thing to do. And I think I even apologized before any of that other stuff happened. I think that was one of the first things I realized in the moment. Was like, dang, you kind of did that as spite. You didn't have to do that. You didn't understand the full context awareness of that. Like that was something that I definitely didn't do right. And then I think the last person, and I'm sure there's other people too that have probably grieved it as well, but what was placed on my heart recently was these 4 people. Let me make sure that's 4. Yeah. So Gav, I feel like there were moments where I talked about Gav and his actions without really digesting everything that happened. And I think that also goes in line with B and Torpy, where I kind of just acted rashly instead of sitting back and like digesting things and like looking at perspectives and then like really going from that point, which is usually what I like to do too, because I like to be I like to make educated decisions. And it's like when I don't know exactly what's going on, I'm basically saying things from a skewed perspective. And so I went back and I watched Gav's perspective on it. And one of the points I had about everything yesterday was that I felt like people were upset about the whole Gracie thing because they didn't bring it up when they should have. But I went and watched Gav's perspective, and he did bring it up when he was supposed to and when he should have. But then also, I'm going to sit here and say this, like, I didn't hear that. If I did hear that, I would have not done that, So, and I think that's a common thing that people in my community understand, that I have very selective hearing. I heard sides said, if you can go get her, we'll let her in. And I fucking left the call right away. I didn't hear anything else. That's all I heard, and I left. So, but I went back. I saw Gav's perspective, and I saw he in the moment said something about it. I didn't care anything for Paige or anybody else, but just Gav. And so, but I will say this too. I also saw that as soon as I left, Gav didn't do anything else with that. Like, Gav just kind of submitted to what everybody else was doing and just letting it be that way instead of sticking with that position. Whereas if like I got back in the call and they were like, yeah, dude, like we're just not gonna do it. And like if they hopped in chat while I was trying to communicate with Gracie and things like that, and they were like, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. Like this is silly, you know? It would have been cool. It would have been cool. Like a part of it was mostly a bit. When I was doing that, a part of it was mostly as a bit. You could see the reaction from side. As soon as I leave the call, it was funny. They were laughing. They were like, what is this guy doing? And this and that. And it genuinely was funny, in my opinion. At that moment, it was funny. Now, on top of that, what else? Okay, so now there's some, like, general things that I feel like I just kind of, like, self-reflected on. And I was like, okay, you know, I could probably do better on this as well. And this is what I have written down here. I said, should have played a bigger role in organization, should have pushed for more structure and less confusion. So I think that was a big theme yesterday in what ended up leading into everything. I think, and this is not a dig at Side. I love you, bro. And I know how much catering you spent, or how much time and catering and love you spent on this event, and what your intentions were for it. You never intended for it to blow up in the way it did. And you never intended for it to be what it was. But with that said, it also doesn't change the fact that there was organizational and structural problems to it that ended up leading to some of these things. And some of those things are just having rules, you know? If there was a rule that said, like if we just had a rule book and it said, okay, you know what, we're not going to have this person, we're not going to allow people to join after or during draft, you know, that it's like, okay, it's written down, it's a rule, like, so too bad, sorry about it, you know, like I feel like a lack of structure and a lack of organization in that regard really led to that problem. But also, Side, it's not really your fault, because while you were kind of organizing it, you also weren't the, like, true organizer of it. And you know, it's not my position to make any more comments about that, because like I said, it's just about what I feel like I could have done better. And at the end of the day, I feel like I've done a great job structuring and organizing tournaments and events, and having structured rules and understandings so that people know what to expect from the beginning to the end. And I think about how every rule, even how matches get broke down and this and that. And if you go look at some of my past tournaments, like in fact, well, I don't know if it's proper, but if you guys care enough, you can go look at my announcements for any tournament I've ever done, and it pretty much has a rules sheet involved in it. It has structure, it has rules, and this is exactly the reason it was. None of the tournaments that were hosted in this manner ever caused forms of drama like this. There was drama in it. It's almost impossible to have tournaments without drama. Unfortunately, I'm on the drama end of the stick this time around. Another thing is when I was prompted about the Asmo and Doom dilemma, I should have been aware of the possibility beforehand. And I say that because I should be going into things more educatedly. Like I shouldn't be showing up and then being surprised when I'm prompted with a Doom and Asmo conundrum. And that might sound funny, but like genuinely from my perspective, it was a bit of a conundrum because, well, I explained it yesterday. There was some weird tensions with Asmo, and I genuinely don't know if Doom's gonna throw my game or not. So like, it was just a conundrum for me. And it wasn't. My goal wasn't to put them down again. I already apologized to them, but I should have been aware of that ahead of time, and I should have been like, okay, well, if that does happen, this is how I should behave, right? Or this is what I should say. This is what I do. And if I had done that ahead of time, I would have been aware that, okay, like I could have turned this into a positive. I could have been like, okay, Doom, you're on my team. Brotherhood, let's go. Asmo, you're my team. Let's shovel all this shit, bury it in the back. You know what I mean? Let's put the shovel down. Let's become teammates. Let's win this tournament. Have a good time. You know, like there could have been a better pathway to go about it. And then it says I should have just elected from one of them without disparaging. That's true. And that's kind of what I just said anyway. And then when the Gracie idea was entertained, I should have prompted for a vote among other leaders or other casters for approval before jumping, because I feel like in my heart I knew like it was a little controversial. But I was just so like, oh, who cares? Like, I'm gonna get this person that I really enjoy on my team. I'm gonna go do it. And I was kind of just selfishly thinking about myself in that regard. And I just went and did it. And yeah, but like looking back on it, I could see how, okay, well, maybe I should have taken a vote, slowed down, taken a vote on it, made sure everybody was cool with it, then did it. So that was a learning moment. And last but not least, when drama ensued, I should have ended stream and dealt with it directly. Yeah, that's something that I've had problems with in the past as well. Like, I like to just brunt drama live and just deal with it. But that's never really the smart thing, because you're also naturally taking an uneducated position in things when you do it that way. So I feel like it ended up leading me to saying things and hurting more relationships that didn't need to be hurt in that regard. Like, I should have just got off stream, dealt with things directly, talked to everybody, and it would have been fine. Sure, I might not have been participating in the tournament still, or this or that, but at the end of the day, I was dealt with a weird conundrum where I felt like the people I genuinely care about, past streaming, all this other stuff, got dragged into this. And I felt like I was being pulled by two sides, where it's like, okay, well, either stick to this like system where I've just been like dragged through the mud, and just deal with it. You know, these people are making these decisions for me and by me, even though I'm allegedly supposed to be helping with organization, which I really wasn't, though. And then between people I really care about and like siding with them. And at the end of the day, wholeheartedly, if you are my friend and I love you and I care about you, I'm going to side with you. And at the same time, the people who acted against me yesterday did the same thing for the people they love and the people they care about. So I think people can probably see that and understand that. Yeah, but regardless, last but not least, I have like a small little written thing that I would like to say. Maybe it's a speech, maybe it's not. However, I feel like things could have gone a lot differently yesterday, and they should have gone a lot differently. And I think that was more of a communal problem, not just a me problem. And this is hopefully going to share my intentions moving forward with how I'm going to operate in my community and what I would like to see from my community and where I am going, per se. But, and it's also going to be talking about things that happened recently, the mistakes involving it. So, if this is a little cringy, I'm sorry. I'm a little cringy in thoughts sometimes, but I love it. All right, it says, I am human. I am destined to make mistakes, many, many mistakes. Though I believe that humans are not judged by the mistakes they make, but by their intention in their heart after they made those mistakes. Yesterday I said and made very rash comments. I clearly offended people, but that result was never my goal. My integrity in my community was put in question yesterday, yet the people who truly know and have had personal, meaningful conversations do not skip a beat in their relationship with me, because they know my heart. I'm so thankful to know these people personally, as they have stood by me no matter the mountain I have had to scale in life. These mountains are far higher than what's publicly known or even assumed about me. Nonetheless, I urge everyone who acted in any manner yesterday to step back and look in the mirror, for there was not one person who was perfect or has ever been perfect. And I would like to share a little bit of scripture, because, you know, for those who know, I am on a bit of a journey. I actually read recently that I felt like directly applied to this. It's in the book of Matthew, and it says, Judge not that you be not judged, for the judgment you pronounce you will be judged, and with the measure you use it will be measured to you. And so essentially what it's saying there is, be careful when you judge others, because by that judgment, you're also going to be judged. And that doesn't just mean on a religious level. That just means generally when you talk to people. When you have a community that is going to be so harsh and quick to judge on you, that is also going to turn within the people that are doing it as well. Like just because I'm the one that was perpetrated or persecuted through it right now does not mean in the future that when things happen, that is also not what happens. Go look at the situation with Six. Go look at the situation with Ushi. How quick are people in this community to just exonerate you? They just completely eliminate you for mistakes or things that you've done wrong in the past. Is that really what we should be doing here? I'm going to be so for real. Ask my mods how many people we've banned. How many people have I banned from my community? It is staggeringly low. It is staggeringly low. There are people who have been genuinely hurt people, and they haven't been banned from my community, but they've chose to leave on their own. And it's because I want to make it apparent that I don't believe in just hushing people and shushing people. I don't believe in just getting rid of the problem. I don't believe in that. But a lot of other people here do believe in that. And it's kind of sad. But regardless, with that being said, I'd like to declare that the purpose of my community and where I'd like to lead it, as someone acting under authority and through that authority, I will ensure that the community is endlessly loving, forgiving, and welcoming. Its purpose is to be a light in the dark and to spread that light through all the darkness. My goal is to uplift others, not cast out, condemn, or admonish. And if you are in search of a place where iron will sharpen iron, this is also a home to you. God bless.